We don't practice developing empathy. We don't practice developing gratitude. We don't practice being more compassionate or patient with people. We need to actually form a dedicated daily practice that helps us become better human beings. It's Evie here. Welcome to EML Radio, where we are always talking truth. All of those things you need to hear that nobody else is willing to say. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to EML Radio. Today, we are going to really quickly talk about what it means to have a practice of becoming a more wholehearted, fulfilled individual. And how do we go about developing a daily practice in order for us to create our most fulfilling life? So this topic came to mind because just the other day me and my husband and daughter were making dinner, and I was asking them if they were going to join me in our upcoming launch of our new 90-day EML Strong Start program. And a big part of that is a mindset piece and mindset practice and helping people create new habits, healthy habits in a lot of different areas of life. So my husband said, "Oh yeah, I'll do all the food stuff. I'll do all the exercise stuff with you. But I'm probably not going to do any of the journaling or any of that stuff." So naturally I said, "Well, why not?" And his response was very common, what I hear from a lot of people, and that, "Well, I don't really journal. I don't really write things down that way." And he's like, "Besides, I'm really grateful. Like, I appreciate my life. I give gratitude in a lot of different ways." So I just left it at that. And then my daughter chimed in, same thing. "Yeah, like I'm kind of excited about doing all the good nutrition and really focusing on my diet and pulling all sugar out of my diet completely. And I love to work out anyway. But yeah, I'm like, Dad, like I don't really want to have to start the day by writing stuff down. That's just really not what I do." So I left it at that. Didn't question him. I've learned the hard way, like not to force things within my own household. I'm like, but I had to giggle, right? I teach people all over the world how to do these things, and I get resistance within my own family from it. But totally another topic. Anyway, it's kind of funny. So anyway, fast forward the next day, I was on a Zoom therapy session with my therapist, because we have to do it from Zoom right now because we're all sheltering in place. But anyway, we were talking about shame, and she was guiding me through some thought processes on it. And she said, think about it in this way. Like when we talk about giving gratitude, she said there's a big difference between saying, "Yes, I'm grateful," acting grateful for things, versus actually having a practice of living in gratitude. And this part like blew my mind. She said, the difference is this. When you say you're grateful, that is like putting on a windbreaker in a snowstorm. Because just saying you're grateful doesn't sustain you in the hard times. You'll lose it. It's not enough just to say you're grateful. You actually have to have a daily practice, a practice that allows you to truly live in gratitude, like in your bones. That's what daily practice gives you. Daily practice gives you that big parka, right? It gives you that armor and protection. So when things go sideways, or you fall into hard times, or your gratitude or other traits are tested, that they don't fall to the wayside. So there's a big difference between practicing something and then just kind of talking about it and being flippant about it. Like This made a lot of bells go off in my mind. So I was thinking about it. Yeah, like think about all the things that we do to practice, because we accept the fact that practicing something is necessary in order for you to get better at it. It's not rocket science. We know that if we are going to get better at a sport, well, you have to practice. You don't just play basketball for a while and then you say, yeah, I play basketball, but I don't ever practice. Ask guys in the NBA that. Do they just show up because they play basketball? No, they practice it. And they practice it, and that's how they get better. Think about your kids. Reading. When you're teaching your kids to read, or they're first learning how to read, they don't just learn how to read and then you go, well, like you just know how to read now. No, you continue to practice it. So you get more and more proficient at reading, and you get more and more intelligent over time. Think about your career. You had to actually practice those things in order to get good at it. If you're a public speaker, you don't just, yeah, I know how to speak, and so I just don't practice. God, if you've ever gotten on a stage, you know that you actually have to practice that stuff in order to be good at it. So, or playing an instrument, you got to practice. So why is it that we accept that practice is a necessity, but yet we don't do it in terms of becoming a better human being? We don't practice developing empathy. We don't practice developing gratitude, high levels of gratitude. We don't practice being more compassionate or patient with people. We need to actually form a dedicated daily practice that helps us become better human beings. Because you guys, without practicing it, it doesn't happen. And if it is happening for you, and you're like, I'm fine, you know what? I go about my everyday and I'm a pretty wholehearted liver. Well, what happens when things crumble? What happens in time of crisis? I think we all have been kind of a little more exposed than we would hope for right now, with things kind of crumbling around us. What happens then? Do you want to just talk about things, or do you want to be well prepared and have a daily practice to help you withstand the hard times? I think all of us would agree we could all use some more practice in being more well-rounded, more fulfilled, happy, content human beings. So here's a couple of things that I encourage you to do to develop practicing skills that make you a better person. You got to get out pen and paper. There's no way around it. Different things happen in the process of thinking about something versus actually writing it down. So writing it down is an absolute must. So number one, write down areas of your life that you feel you are somewhat lacking. Are you lacking in patience? Are you lacking in humility? Are you lacking in the ability to be vulnerable and let down your guard? Are you lacking in the area of sharing your truth and your story with other people? Where are things where you feel like, you know what, I'm just not content at where my level of effort or outcome is in that area of my life? Write it down. Step two, take whatever area that is and sit with it for a minute. Don't judge it. Don't criticize it. Don't internalize it. Just sit with it and write down the ways in which each and every day you could take action steps to improve that area. Let me repeat that. Observe and sit with the area that you want to improve. And then write down, I don't care how many different things it could be, but write down a list of the things you could be doing on a daily basis to improve in that area. And then number three is you actually have to continue that practice on a daily basis. So whatever and I encourage you only to pick one, because most people start a daily practice and they take on too much too soon, and then it all just falls by the wayside. You guys, this doesn't have to take more than 5 minutes of your day. Right? Start your day every day by getting out that piece of paper and write down the things you are going to do, the action steps you're going to take that day in order to work towards the area you are trying to improve in your life as a person, not in your job, not in external things within you want to improve so that you can live a more wholehearted, complete, and fulfilling life. So be sure to write down those 3 steps, start your daily practice, and acknowledge that talking about things is like putting on a raincoat or a windbreaker in a snowstorm. You want to have that parka available to you. You want those skills and that resiliency and those traits that make you a wholehearted human. You want them to be built into your bones. They are part of who you are, so that no matter what arises in your life, you have practiced the skills to get through it. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm going to leave you with one truth like I always do. And here it is. The truth is, if you are listening to this and saying, yeah, I don't need to do that, I've already got it all under control, I guarantee you probably need it more than anybody else. Let that sink in. And ask yourself, why are you resistant to doing practices that will allow you to be a more fulfilled, wholehearted human? Thanks for tuning in today, guys. We will see you next time. Be sure that you don't miss an episode. We release new episodes now every Monday and every Thursday. So don't miss out. Be sure to head over to YouTube to get the video versions of episodes and subscribe to EML Radio Talking Truth. And audio versions are on iTunes, Apple Podcast, Stitcher. Where else are we at? Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time.